Welcome to Trout Talk right here in Saga 960 AM, or if you're watching on YouTube, this is episode number 22, I believe. My name is Mike Karafilidis, along with my partner, Brendan Lang. We're both broadcasters of the Brampton Steelheads. Brendan, let's first start off with, how are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. It was a little bit of a tough weekend for me, but out on the other side now of a bit of a sickness, and you know what, doing a lot better. So looking forward to the next couple weeks of hockey. Obviously, a lot going on in that, and also you know what, the snow's melting a little bit. I can see some grass as I'm looking out the window.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, it's starting to get to that part of winter where like I don't mind winter. I don't mind the snow, but it gets to like a point, especially around, you know, March, near the middle of it, where it just kind of starts to look ugly with all like the dirty snow
Yeah.
all around the roads and everything, where you just kind of want it to go away. So I think we're going in the right direction. We've had some warmer days, had some rain yesterday, so moving in the
Yeah.
right direction weather wise. Feeling pretty good. How have you been, Mikey?
Good. Yeah, good. Just got back from that, well, whatever, during the week, the northern road trip there.
Hmm.
So that's a doozy. I couldn't believe how much snow they had in Sault Ste. Marie. My goodness me. We were lucky to get up there. There was a lot of um, there was a highway closure, all that kind of stuff, whatever. So but it was a good road trip. Of course, you know, Steelers coming out with 5 out of 6 points out of that road trip. And there was a big dad road trip up there too, right? So it was kind of cool. You saw, forgive me for the fathers if I forget you, but I just remember some of them. I remember seeing Mr. Carmiris, excuse me, Lucas's dad, Mr. Martone, Mr. Gee was there. Yeah. Mr. Zabeski, Mr. Lescavar. Oh my goodness, I think I'm missing like three more of them. But anyway, forgive me, like I said. So, yeah, so it was really cool to see them up there and stuff, and they made it up there through blizzard. And apparently,
Yeah.
Porter Martone's dad he white knuckled it. Apparently, the whole drive up there. Yeah. So, um, you know, kudos to the dads for making the trip and stuff. And uh, yeah, after that road trip, and then we had the home game against the Oshawa Generals, of course. And you know, that was kind of a game. Obviously, the Steelers want to come back, but you know, it's all been the arena. It's been all the arena for me. That's all I've been doing. So,
Yeah.
especially this last week. So, that's about it, my friend. That's about it. So, we got lots of stuff. I mean, lots of stuff to go over in this episode here. I mean, we'll get more into the road trip, and I will talk about our guest who's coming up soon. And as well, you know, we'll talk about the remaining Steelheads opponents for their coming up, and we'll talk about the standings a little bit. But before that, I guess we could talk about some milestones, Brendan.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something right now. Let's talk about Finn Harding signing his entry year deal with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And you know what I love about this? That he was selected in the 8th round by the Penguins, 151st overall, signs an entry deal. Hard work pays off for defenseman Finn Hardy.
It sure does. You know, it's always cool to see somebody get that opportunity to be drafted and ultimately sign the contract like we saw that. But like you said, to have been, you know, not a high draft pick, somebody that was drafted a little bit later in the draft, and to get signed within not even a year of being drafted. You know,
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's a massive accomplishment, and it's not something that happens, you know, all the time either. Like usually when you get those later picks, like it's maybe takes a little while, or maybe they don't sign at all. So it's obviously a huge credit to Finn himself, and the hard work that he's put in. I mean, just think about the development of when he started 2 years ago. Like, remember
Mm-hmm.
when we showed up to the rink and we saw Parker Von Richter and Finn Harding in the lineup, and we were like, "Yo, who are these? Who are
Yeah,
these
yeah.
young guys?"
Yes, the
And
young
you know,
skinny
it's
guys and whatnot. Right. And it's pretty cool for Finn too. Like you gotta think about this. He was selected to Steelheads in the 2021 OHL draft. And what I love about this, he was in the eighth
yeah.
round, 151st overall too, in the OHL priority. Like this is
And you
called
know,
this
like,
guy's an underdog. You know what I mean?
yeah, and he didn't play as a 16-year old. He started as a 17-year old. Like a little bit
Right.
later, he wasn't somebody that made the team his first year out of camp. Like, this has been a lot of work that has gone into to where he's gotten, and we know, just from being around the rink and seeing all the scouts, seeing Dubas at some of the games, Pittsburgh
Mm-hmm.
really likes him.
Oh, they
Pittsburgh
love
really
him.
likes him,
Yeah.
and
Yes, they
so,
do.
you know, I think there's a very good chance that we see him in the NHL in not too distant of a time.
And don't forget about over the weekend he set the single season record for defensemen for assists, 48 assists. That's a record for the Steelers defenseman as for Steelers defenseman in assists. So that's unbelievable. Congratulations to Finn. And what a great family he comes from too. And you can tell with
Mhm.
the what he with his mother and his father, his brother being able to play with his brother this year, another thing, like so many things going on for Finn this year. He gets the contract, plays with his brother back on defense, comes from a good family. Just to say congratulations to Finn Hardy.
Yeah, huge congratulations. And like you said, with all that going on, playing with his brother, getting drafted to the NHL, signing, the personality hasn't changed one bit. He's still the same guy whenever we get to talk to him around the rink. So it's always a pleasure to see him. We saw him yesterday before the game and congratulated him a little bit about the contract. Yeah, it's definitely an awesome milestone. You love seeing it when guys get that opportunity, and especially somebody like him that's obviously put so much hard work into that spot. It's great to see.
Yeah, he just gets better and better
Mm-hmm.
and better every game. He's so good with the body. He's very, very good with his positional game back on defense. He plays a really, really smart game, and he's a really, really smart kid. Right. And I'll tell you something, if there wasn't a job for obviously he's moving on in hockey, but if he wasn't a hockey player, he'd probably be a doctor. I'm just saying. That's what I think. Right? What kind of doctor do you think Finn would be?
He'd be a very positive doctor. I think that's the first thing that
Yeah,
comes to mind.
yeah, he would. He would be. I think he'd be a really positive doctor, but he'd be a good like a really good with the kids. I think he'd be a real good pediatrician. You know what I mean? Like the kids come in, he'd be able to calm them down, and all they got to do is look at his smile, and then they just start smiling or something. Because he's got a really real he's got a smile that's addictive. Like he smiles, you smile. You know what I mean? So I like that. He could be a pediatrician. He could be I don't know. He could be a family doctor. I would let him be my
Yeah,
family
there's
doctor.
a
Would you
lot.
trust
There's a
him?
lot. Yeah,
Would
I
you trust
trust
him?
him now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I'm just laughing, but I think he'd be a doctor,
Uh,
or he'd be a good. I could see him owning like a store or something, like a big store, like a salesman, hey,
yeah,
something
yeah.
like
You
that.
know what? I think he could do a lot of things. I don't think he's gonna have to worry about that though. I think hockey's gonna work out. So it's
He's
not
making the
a
big, yeah. He made that's a big bucks. But congratulations to Finn, of course. So, yeah. So we'll get to talking about the recent road trip, of course, and the recent game against the Oshawa Generals. We'll talk about as well, Brendan, the games that are going to be coming up for the Steelheads. Right now, there's only 8 games left in the regular season. So, wow, it's going to be unbelievable. All right. It's going to be a great finish. But all right, so more Trout Talk to come after the break. This is Trout Talk right here at Saga 960 AM. Welcome back to Trout Talk right here at Saga 960 AM. My name is Mike Karafilidis, along with my compadre, Brendan Lang. We're both broadcasters for the Brampton Steelheads. And I think we're going to our guest. Are we going to our guest? Okay. All right. We're going to our guest. All right. Here he is. He's 6'2", 100, and I think he's 185 pounds or 95 pounds. No, he's too
Yeah.
skinny. That's too skinny for that. All right. It's Parker Von Richter, defenseman of the Brampton Steelheads. Parker, thanks so much for joining us here on Trout Talk, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
No problem. Looks like you're just getting out of practice there. So, yeah, you look like you're pretty relaxed here with your hat backwards.
Yeah,
Nothing.
practice.
Yeah,
Yeah, practice just ended, just on the way home now. So,
that's good. That's good. All right. I guess I'll start it off here. You know what, Parker, you were pretty much drafted by your hometown team in 2022, the OHL priority selection, and you were drafted in the third round, 51st in the third round. Talk about that experience to be drafted to your hometown team.
I mean, it was kind of a full circle moment because I used to bill it back about 10 years ago for the team. So, getting drafted by the team that, I was always around growing up was really a really nice feeling. And to get to put on that jersey and play for him was even better.
Do you think that helped you in any way? Just kind of being around guys that had been through that experience as a kid.
Yeah, because as a kid, I wasn't really for sure that I was going to do hockey fully. And then once I saw what it was like, I kind of made the step to do that fully.
Parker, you know what? You come back to me. Obviously, you come back bigger. You come back stronger. You were in Boston Bruins camp, rookie camp this year. You actually took part in the prospect game as well. Talk about that whole experience, how that's made you better.
Yeah, I mean, seeing what it's like at the pro level and how much of like a little, a step it is, it really makes you want to improve your own game, and it forces you to take that step to get better as a player. And taking that back, I know we had a lot of other guys that also went to NHL camps, but taking that back to our team they had this year really helped. And I feel like we all benefited from that experience and brought it together as a team.
Yeah, I mean, so what can you say about just kind of like you kind of mentioned there, all the guys having, or not all, but a lot of guys having
Mhm.
experience going to NHL camp? Like, what are maybe some of those habits or off the ice, on the ice that you saw brought back from those guys that had that experience?
It's the little things outside, like off the ice, like being in the gym every day before and after, stretching, rolling out, and staying on top of your diet that makes it like that much more, on top of it, because at the pro level they're all on top of it. And when you see that, you start to realize that that's what you need to be too to get to that next level. And all the guys that went saw that, and we brought it back, and it's been working.
So you guys just recently had a bowling event I saw a couple days ago, and you were in a couple of the pictures there, which was kind of cool. So talk about that. You were with the season ticket holders. It must have been a good time. Those get-togethers always good with the team, of course. Those events. And who was the best bowler out of you guys?
The best bowler, I saw a couple of good guys. A couple guys are just terrible, but some of the best. I mean, some of the best were that I saw were Van Volsen and Gillespie. They knew how to bowl.
Gillespie looks like
Ah,
he looks like a kind of
yeah.
guy that's like a PBA bowler. I could see him doing that. I could see him like spinning it. I don't know why, like
Yeah,
being like a perfect guy. Yeah,
I don't
I
know
could
why.
see him.
I didn't expect him to be that good, but like I don't know, he knew how to chuck
Yeah.
it. So
I
That's
saw
awesome.
I saw a video of him throwing a strike. So it's
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
wow.
Well, so are you willing to call out any of the guys that weren't good? You said there was a few terrible ones.
Oh, I gotta
McGregor
go.
Richmond's not good. McGregor's
Hmm.
not good. Stevie's
He needs
brutal.
to. Oh,
Steve,
okay.
Stevie
Yeah,
probably tries to throw it right through
he
the
just
right through
chucks
the
it.
thing.
He
Yeah,
just chucks
okay.
it.
I
Yeah,
figured that right.
takes the
They
lightest
need
ball
the
and just like throws it.
How
they
about
need
you?
the
How was
gutter
your game?
rails up. Yeah.
Yeah,
How was your game, Parker?
I started out well, and then time goes on, and you get a little tired, and you're just like, oh, gutter here, gutter there. So
Yeah, yeah. How many
yeah,
games did you guys get in with
we-
season? Like, you get to mingle with the season ticket holders as well and all that. So
yeah.
that's pretty
So
cool.
yeah, with all like you talk to the fans, you sign some things for them. Like the new cards we got, we were signing a bunch of those, and with all that included, it's like we get like a game and a half, 2 games, so not too much, but
So
yeah.
you're out there with, as we mentioned, the season ticket holders, the fans. You're out there with your team as well, and it's kind of a team building experience. Obviously, you guys just recently on a northern road trip as well. How much are those kind of team bonding sort of aspects? Obviously, you guys are really close together and throughout the season, but how much does that help? Maybe having that experience on the road going up north, and also having it late in the year when things are kind of ramping up.
We should have had a bowling thing up north. That's what we should have done. We didn't even think about that. But sorry, Parker, go ahead.
Yeah, no, we
Good.
did a bowling thing like 2 years ago, I think it was in
Yes, I
Sue.
remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
But
was
yeah,
fun.
those long road trips being on the bus together for so long and getting to spend the nights together in the hotels, it brings the group closer together. And around this time of the year, getting closer to playoffs, that's all we really need to do. We got to pull together and get ready for a stretch here. So yeah, the trip was good. I know we all enjoyed it. It started out well, didn't end out the way we wanted it to, but it was a good time.
All right, so you know what? You've been ever since Connor Smith got traded to the Steelheads from the Owen Sound Attack. You've been paired up with him right from day one, right when he got off the plane in Ottawa. You guys have been together. Talk about playing with Connor and how much you guys help each other.
I mean, he's a great player. He's a really shutdown defenseman, and since he's came to the team, I've only ever seen him play for other teams before that,
Hmm.
and here or there, right? Because he was mostly in the Western Conference last year. So, playing with him was really good at the start, and it still is. And he's a really great player. And we build off each other, and it's been pretty good in the D zone because I mean the guy knows how to play D pretty well. So,
Yeah,
And,
and
and how
yeah,
much does it help too that he's a an OHL champion. Like he has the experience playing in those big games. I mean, obviously it's going to help off the ice, but playing with him on the ice, do you kind of notice any sort of different maybe calming factors when you're out there?
Yeah, he plays with a poise that, guys get when they've been in the league like he has for a while. And, as you said, win a championship and seen what it's like in the playoffs. I think that addition was also a key factor for what we're trying to do this year. And yeah, he plays with, knowing that he's been around for a while, and it shows.
So Parker, talk to me about practice. What's been the vocal point of practice?
Recently, it's just we get out there. It's been quick and short, but it's been snappy, right? It's been good, and moving to playoffs, we don't want to be on the ice too long, so keep the legs fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been good. The guys are moving quick. The pucks are snapping. The D zone's looking good. So it's going to be something to watch come playoffs.
And can you kind of feel like sort of the stakes kind of getting higher here as the season goes on? I mean, it seems like the games have started to get a little more physical, maybe a little less space out there on the ice. Like, can you notice that when you're out there with these games going into the postseason?
Yeah, so a lot of the last games that we've played, it's almost felt like a playoff game already. And even though we're like, what is it, like 8 or 9 games out still, it's, they're starting to feel like we're already in the playoffs, and every game's been tighter and more physical. And like you said, there's less space to, do what you want. So, it's getting us ready and prepared for what's coming, and it's been good.
Now, Parker, I want to talk to you personally now. I mean, you didn't get drafted last year, which was nonsense as far as I'm concerned. I thought you should have been drafted. This year, my friend, I'm going to tell you, and I keep telling you this, you're going to get drafted the way you're playing. Is that something in the back of your mind? You keep, you want to, I'll show you kind of thing?
Hey, I mean, it's there like way back, but honestly, right now I'm just looking to go as far as we can in the playoffs as a group. And in that, I think everyone on our team will have their own successes. So we just got to pull it together and push forward as a group, and we'll all get to where we want to be.
Good answer. Good answer.
Perfect. Always the team first answer. You love
That's
to hear
right.
that.
Love
to hear that. So we had Mason Zabeski on the show last, and just wanted to ask you kind of about you're playing before playing in the OHL, and he had teammates through minor hockey that he's played against in the OHL, and you have as well, guys like Sam Dickinson, Beckett Seneca that have gone on, of course, to be high NHL draft picks, and quite a few other guys that you played against in the OHL. So what's the experience like being on the ice against players that you grew up with, and then seeing the successes that they've had past your minor hockey days?
I mean, it's cool seeing them like succeed the way they did, knowing them before it all. And I mean, playing against them, you're always like out there, you're kind of tapping on those shin pads, saying what's up, kind of giving a little laugh, right? So it's like friendly when it is, and then when the puck drops, it's all, you forget the guy's name, you just go try to take the puck off and whatnot, right? But it's cool kind of seeing like everyone move forward in hockey and to see how they turned out. So
yeah. So I want to talk to you about when you went to the Boston camp, the prospect, and you played in the prospect game, whatnot. Who was, I asked all the guys this, that have been to NHL camps and whatnot. So I'm going to ask you, who was the first guy NHL that you looked at when you walked in and been like, whoa, or the first guy went up to you and said, hey, hey, how's it going? How's it going, kid, or anything like that?
this is first day in Boston, we had to go in to do testing in the morning, like off ice testing. And so I got my blood taken. I did a couple iPad tests, whatever. And then we go in the gym. It's still maybe 7 in the morning, probably earlier. And I see Brad Marchand in the corner of the gym squatting like 400 pounds. Yeah, crack of dawn, you walk in and you see Brad Marchand just going at it. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
Did you get to have any kind of interaction with him, throughout the time?
Throughout the thing, I saw a couple of guys, like you see them coming in and off the ice. Yeah. They were practicing before, my group would. But then in the gym, like you see them around and whatnot. But I thought that was pretty cool seeing the captain just sitting in the gym at 6 in the morning, giving it. So, pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow, his legs, my goodness.
Yeah.
Who do you think has the strongest legs on the Steelheads? I'll tell you, I think does. I think Spencer Silva does. Am I right?
He's got some nice legs. Oh,
They're like tree trunks, man.
Yeah.
He's walking around and like.
It's probably Ulrichsen. If I'm being honest, the guy's a moose.
Yeah.
The guy's a moose.
Would you say just like strongest all around is probably Ulrichsen?
Yeah, like after games when we do our workouts and stuff, like the weight's not set really high because we just played. It was just to get like a little lift in, and he's tossing. Like I remember we were doing squats one time after games, and he went in there, tossed like 2 more plates on each side, and started lunging it. So we
That's
were all
awesome.
sitting there like, "What's this guy doing?" But this is like when he first got to the team too. We're like,
Yeah.
"Holy,"
Hey,
But
he's setting the standard for you guys, right?
yeah. I was like, "Oh, I'm not doing that right now." But like, damn.
Oh, man, that guy's yeah, he is a moose, that's for sure. So the teams, I mean, you guys just came off a northern road trip, of course. We talked about that 5 out of 6 points. Tough loss to the Oshawa Generals, of course. You guys, I mean, you guys talk to me about the mindset going into this weekend coming up. I know it's only one game coming up, and there's going to be another game coming up next weekend. But what's the mindset coming up here? How are you guys
The mi-
talking? And
yeah. So the mindset going into the next couple of games is get our stride going into playoffs. And that might not be blowing out teams by like 3, 4, 5. That's just playing our game, no matter what
Mhm.
happens with the score. Just playing our game, knowing that we like stay strong as a group. And if we just play our game like we have in the past, I think we're going to be pretty successful.
And talk about the goaltending that you've been getting recently. Ivan Kovic's been playing really well since Gillespie's come over. He's been awesome. Like, how much does that help? Just knowing that you have that kind of rock back there in the net.
Yeah, wow.
It's honestly I love it because the shots that you like would hope don't go in, they don't go in, right? So it's just like that there's someone back there that can bail you out when you need it, and they'll save everything that shouldn't be going in at the same time.
I think the
So they'll
better
save
thing.
some. Hmm?
Yeah.
Sorry?
No, sorry, Parker's
Okay,
that.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, they'll
But
save some that shouldn't be saved, and they'll save the rest too. So it helps out.
yeah, absolutely. I was just gonna say, like, what a teammate that Gillespie's been ever since he's been over to since he got traded over the Steelheads. I see it all the time. Like he fits in perfectly, right? Like a
Mhm.
great kid and whatnot. Give me your thoughts when he first came over. Was he a little bit shy and all that? Did you kind of calm him down and say, hey kid, don't worry, you're good or anything like that? Talk about that.
Yeah, so my stall is almost like right beside him in the room. So we got pretty close pretty quick. And I think I mean, being around the league for a couple of years, you get to like know guys, even though you don't like know them like they're on your team, you still like know who they are, know where they're from and whatnot. And he's from Oakville, so he like grew up with a couple of guys like Sebastian Misa. So it wasn't too hard for him first coming in. And he also got here with Ulrichsen around the same time too. So he had a teammate around, which also helped out. But yeah, he's been a great teammate so far, and he's been really well in that. And I love the guy. So
Yeah, he's a good
yeah,
guy. He's funny. He makes me
yeah,
laugh.
It seems like the new additions like Ulrichsen and Smith and Gillespie have fit in pretty well, pretty easily, like quickly there. For you guys though, going down the stretch and you got probably like you said 8 games around there remaining. Like, do you think about standings, matchups at all? Like any team that you'd rather play, or is it more so about just kind of getting the game in order for just to be
No.
playing your best hockey at a specific time?
I mean, there's always chat about who we'd rather play, but at the same time, I know how we play, and I know how we can play against these teams, and I like our shot against all of them. So honestly, whoever it is, it's looking like Oshawa or Kingston right now, but either one of them, I think we got a good shot.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah,
Oshawa, you guys to me, it's one of those games, right? It's a morning game, whatnot,
yeah.
whatever. You guys you split the series with the Oshawa Generals. Easily could have won that game against Oshawa Generals as well. But yeah, Oshawa or Kingston, whatever it is. I mean, I like that what you're saying there because you
Yeah.
guys match up well against any team in the East, any team in the West, right? In my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So honestly, whoever it is, it's gonna be a good series, and we'll take it to them. So
There you go.
yeah,
But I like that a
For
lot.
sure, definitely,
yeah,
definitely looking forward to the playoffs. I think it'll be exciting one. Last question for me. We talked a little bit just about you playing with Connor Smith since he's come over, but you've had different D pairings throughout the season. You're playing a little bit with Spencer Sova
yeah.
there. How do you kind of adapt? Playing with different guys, all the time, and seeing different faces out there on the ice.
Yeah, so most of these games we've played with like I want to say 6 or 7D.
Yeah,
It's been in between, right? So playing with all these different guys, I mean they're all great players, so it's not really much of a change because you got someone like good to work off with, right? And honestly, going into the playoffs, I don't know what we're gonna be doing in terms of 6 or 7, so we gotta be ready for anything. So,
Last,
but yeah,
yeah.
sorry?
No, sorry.
Oh
say
yeah,
it
no,
again. Sorry.
I'm good with playing with anyone. Honestly, everyone's
Yeah.
a good player, and it's been real easy playing with whoever's on the ice with me.
Last thing for me, do you listen to Eye of the Tiger? Is that one of your pump up songs?
I don't know if I've listened to it that much recently, but that was a thing a couple
Put it
years
on.
back, maybe.
I'm gonna say this to you. Last thing for me, you got the Eye of the Tiger. Keep it up. Play that song in your earbuds and stuff, man. And man, that's you. You got the Eye of the Tiger. Or play it in the dressing room or something. I think Witkowski takes care of the music. Tell him to
Yeah.
put on Eye of
So
the
it was
Tiger. It's
McGregor.
really nice.
McGregor said he took care of the music.
Oh, he does.
They,
I don't know.
I
That's what he
think they
said.
swap in between now. Yeah, it's whoever
Okay.
gets there
Oh,
first, kind of. Yeah.
you got the Eye of the Tiger, my friend. Keep it up.
Thanks, Mikey.
So, all right, listen. I want to thank you so much for coming on, Parker, and thank you for going on a secure place. I have to say because the last couple guests that we've had, well, no, Zabeski didn't. The before that, last couple didn't go in a secure place. So, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for
you
having
so
me, Mike.
much,
Thank you,
Parker.
Brandon. Thank you,
Okay,
Brandon.
see you soon. All right, guys.
Okay, thank you
All
guys.
right.
Bye.
Okay, Parker.
Yep.
Take care. All right, that's Parker Von Richter of the Brampton Steelheads, and he's got the Eye of the Tiger. All right, so when we come back, we'll break down that interview with Parker Von Richter. You are listening to Trout Talk right here in Saga 960 AM. Welcome back to Trout Talk right here in Saga 960 AM. Mike Karafilidis along with Brendan Lang, we're both broadcasters of the Brampton Steelheads, and we just talked to Parker Von Richter. What a pro. I mean, oh, man, he got bigger, he's got stronger. And again, I just have to mention, I know we talk about it all the time from a 16-year-old to where he is now, Brendan. My
Mhm.
goodness. I mean, from a kid that with braces, and I mean, everybody grows, I'm just to say, but he's grown up fast, right?
Yeah. No, he really has. I mean, we were just talking about Finn Harding, seeing him show up as a young kid. It was exactly the same with Parker, seeing him again. He was 16 when he showed up too. Like you said, he had the braces on, and you just see the development over the time,
Oh,
and not just the development, on the ice, but seeing it off the ice as well. Just talking to him, interacting with him, interviewing him. You can see that there's been a lot of changes throughout that experience that he's had with the Steelheads, and obviously it's a really cool experience for him because you'd said it or you'd asked him about it early on in that interview about playing for his hometown team. Now, not
mm,
his hometown team in Brampton, but getting drafted by Mississauga,
sure.
playing there, pretty much the same, the same organization. So
Yeah.
it's got to be a really kind of cool feeling for him in that regard. And the play is just completely taken off this season. Like you saw the development from his first to second year, but I think the second to third year jump has been massive for him. I mean,
Massive.
he's a guy that you can rely upon now on the ice in any situation. It doesn't matter.
You just nailed it right there. He's played every situation out there.
Yeah.
The penalty kill, the power play. I mean, he's been out there, and every time James Richmond, he has a complete trust in this guy to go out and do anything he wants him to do. Go out in the penalty kill, he'll do a great job. Go out in the power play, he'll do a great job. This is a guy that's been to Bruins developmental or rookie camp, developmental camp, whatever. He played in this game. He comes back. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's paired up with Connor Smith. You can see how much they complement each other as well in the back end. I mean, if there's a sheriff back there, if there's a deputy sheriff, because I know that they like to call Connor or
Yeah.
James
Yeah.
Richmond likes to call Connor Smith the sheriff. If there's a deputy sheriff, it's Parker Von Richten.
100%. And I asked him about the kind of the steadying presence that Connor Smith, kind of has in his play because he's been in the league for a while. You got to remember, I mean, Parker himself, he's not a young player anymore. Like this is his third year in the league. He has the experience now and has been through multiple, playoff series with the Steelheads and
Yep.
playoff runs going into the playoffs. So he has the experience as well. And you can see the poise out there on the ice too. Like there's definitely, no rushing in his game. He just makes the right play all the time. And I think that's what kind of sets apart a great defenseman from a really good defenseman is the quick decision making. And you can obviously see that in the game, like you said, just kind of controls the play when he's out there. And that's obviously a huge part of his game and a huge part of what the Steelheads are going to need to have from him here going down the stretch to make the playoffs and hopefully have a deep run.
All right, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the road trip, the past road trip,
Mm-hmm.
getting into a little more depth, of course. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. I thought maybe they could have got those 2 points in Sudbury. I thought in my mind Sudbury got a little lucky, but that's just the way it goes. But the goaltending was absolutely phenomenal in those 3 games. I mean, Jack Ivankovic was phenomenal on the Thursday night, the 2-1 win in overtime against the North Bay Battalion. He was the first star in that game. Oh my goodness, making save after save after save. Porter Martone scoring in overtime. What do you think about that game, Brendan?
Yeah, it's obviously a big one for the Steelheads because the North Bay Battalion have given them problems at times this
Hmm.
season, right? So it's always a close matchup anytime that the Steelheads and Battalion meet each other, and that game was no different. I mean, we know it's well documented about the struggles that they've had in overtime as well, playing 3-on-3. And for them to be able to come through with a win, especially to start the road trip, I always think that that's a really big one when you first get up north. Just have that,
You got to get that
few
first
games
one,
there.
that first game.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. You got
yeah.
to get that first game done, and I
Set
feel
the
like
tone.
exactly, and set the tone, and also get the confidence boost as well for getting that first
Hmm.
game, and try to ride that momentum throughout the weekend. So it was a big win for them, and now they're going to play North Bay again. By the time this comes out, it'll have played, but they got them again last time this year. Seems like they played them so much recently.
Yeah, it seems like they play them every second
Yeah,
week
I,
now.
I
So,
know, I know.
right.
But it'll be over against them. But I think that just kind of set themselves up to be in a good spot for the rest of that northern road trip.
100%. And you look at the second game against the Sioux Greyhounds again. Again, Braden Gillespie gets the starting goal for the Steelheads. And what does he do? He stops 35 of 38 shots, gets first star. Two Steelheads goalies get first star of the game, and he was
Yeah,
absolutely again phenomenal in that game. Lucas Carmiris was really good in that game. Parker Von Richter scored the opening goal in that game for the Steelheads, but they look good. But I tell you, the Sioux Greyhounds, they're a real. They're going to be really good in a couple years. I think that's in my mind. They're very fast and they're very well
hmm,
coached, of course, by John Dean. And we got to go back to North Bay as well. Very well coached by Ryan Houlihan. Two well coached teams, but coming out with that 6-3 win, that was huge for the second game of the road trip. And Lucas Carmiris was third star in that game, actually, 1 goal, 1 assist. And he was a +3, which is huge. So I liked what I saw, but. Uh, that was a good game for the second game of road trip. And you're coming in and you think about it, you're coming to see St. Marie on that Friday or right after the game in North Bay, leaving there, coming into Sault Ste. Marie of like 3 in the morning, and then playing that game at 7 at night. That's tough for anybody. Still, it's been well. They played
they
well and
did.
they deserve to win that game.
Yeah, really, really difficult to do that. And I think the 6-3 score probably isn't indicative to how close the game was. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
down to the wire, really, in the third period. And then you have McDonnell who scores the go-ahead goal, which ends up being the game winner, and then Rakoff and Zidlicki adds two empty netters. But it was right down to the wire. All those games were close in the weekend. You always expect those games up north to be close, hard-fought games. But to be able again to find different ways to win, I think is always a good sort of barometer of good teams. And we've seen the Steelheads blow teams out. We've also seen them win, close 1-goal games. Yes, the overtime record isn't great, but you have to remember in the playoffs, 3-on-3 is not going to happen. So it's also, not part of the game when you get into the postseason. But they've shown that they can win those close games and in regulation 5-on-5. So you like to see that. You like to see that they kind of can do it in different ways. They can score a bunch of goals and they can also defend and get good goaltending to win as well. And I
Yeah.
think that's kind of what you see with all the good teams that make deep runs in the OHL.
Exactly, and that's what good teams are going to do. They're going to find ways to win, right? And the goaltending won the games for them. Well, was awesome in those two
Yep.
games and whatnot. And the good teams find ways to win, and the bad teams find ways to lose. That's the way it goes in any sport, right? And it goes in football, it goes in hockey. I mean, football teams go 0 and I mean, NFL, Cleveland Browns, for example, they can be up 20. They can be up 21-10 with 1 minute left, and they'll blow it.
Yeah.
I'm used
Yeah.
to it. So whatever, 21-10.
That's
Oh
right.
yeah, I'll be watching the TV. I'll go like this. And I say, oh yeah, I go like this. Like,
It's
it's
over.
not over yet. No. I say it's not over yet. And then, say if I'm watching it with a friend or something. What do you mean it's not over yet? It's over. There's like two. No, trust me. Trust me, it's not over yet. Boom.
Hey,
They lose
that's that
24. They lose 24-21. They get
that's
the ball. They turn the ball over and whatever. So just the
that's
same.
what they say. Good teams find ways to win and bad teams find ways to lose. And sorry, Mikey, but the Browns,
Yeah,
they
they
might
stink.
be finding ways.
Oh, every, and I love him so much. I love him so much. I can't help it. And I still say to this day, if they end up winning the Super Bowl, and I see if I'm alive, God forbid, or I mean, God forbid, God helping, I hope. And if they win the Super Bowl, and I see somebody wearing a Cleveland Browns jacket, you darn right, I'm going to be going up to him on the street and saying, excuse me, sir, or excuse me, ma'am, in a nice way. When did you like start liking the Browns? I know. Yeah, I know we talked about this before, but this bandwagon stuff, I can't stand it, man. All right, so let's move on, Brendan. You know what? Then the third game of the road trip against the Sudbury Wolves, 3-2 win in overtime for Sudbury. Boy, oh boy, the Steelheads overtime woes, I guess you could say, continue with the 3-on-3. But it was a good game. It was a back and forth game. It was a good Central Division game. Uh, Again, Jack Ivankovic was absolutely phenomenal. He was second star of that game, Brendan. I mean, he stopped 35 to 38 shots again. And I think a little bit of bad luck at the end with that shot. And then it came, I mean, right to Kieran Walton. I mean, you talk about a perfect bounce. Right on the side on the right, and he one
Mhm.
times it in. But great Central Division battle, and to come up with a point in Sudbury was good. And I thought they could have had two, but that's just the way she goes sometimes.
That's right, and not only a perfect bounce to find Kieran
Oh
Walton,
my
but
goodness!
but one of the best saves I think I've ever seen
I don't
from
know if
Ivan Kovic before
so
that.
he saved it. It might have went off the post a little bit too, though.
I I think it
That's
hit
at a
like
tough angle.
I think it hit his stick and just
His stick,
deflected straight back out. Like it was an unlucky goal,
crazy. Yeah.
obviously. Unlucky goal.
Anyways, yeah.
But yeah, it's when you come away with 5 of 6 on a northern road trip. I mean, you got to be happy, no matter how you win the games. Like to be able to put those kind of points up on that trip is always something that you're looking to do. And as you mentioned, the goaltending was phenomenal. All 3 games, Jack in the North Bay and the Sudbury game, and Gillespie was perfect as well in the game against Sault Ste. Marie. So definitely some good takeaways from that northern road trip. And for
Hmm.
the Steelheads, yeah, you know what? Like you said, the overtime woes continue. That's 10 overtime
10.
losses this
Yeah.
season. I mean, I think that's 5 more than any other team in the league.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
so it's it's just one of those things. It just hasn't worked out for them 3-on-3. But you know what? They battled on that trip. They battled in that game and couldn't quite come away with the win. But again, 5 of 6 points. You're always going to take that.
That overtime stuff, it could turn it around in a hurry.
Yep.
Next time they play
Yep.
3-on-3, they could win 3 in a row. Whatever. All right. So
Mhm.
5 out of 6 on that road trip. Then they come back home. And they play in the school day game against the Oshawa Generals. Got shut out 4-0. And Oshawa, they played a good game. They played a really, really good road game, coming off with a lot of intensity, finishing off their checks, Brendan. And Jacob Oster was pretty good. I thought maybe the quality of scoring chances could have been better from the Steelheads, but Jacob Oster was good
He
for the
was,
shutout.
yeah. I mean, when he needed to make a save, he made it. But you're right. I
Mhm.
don't think they had a ton of quality chances. I mean, I can think of maybe
Two.
three,
Yeah.
yeah, 2 to 3
Two or
kind of
three. Yeah.
really good chances that Oster had made great saves on, but it just didn't really seem like they had it right from the drop of the puck to start the game. The first period, the puck management wasn't great. They gave the puck away quite a bit in their own zone. It just didn't seem like the passes were connecting too well. It just kind of seemed like from the beginning to the end, it was just a little bit disjointed. Just didn't seem like there was kind of great flow to the game. And you never know with the early starts, that could
Yeah.
always have something to do with it as well. I wouldn't put too much stock in that game and kind of where they want to go for the rest of the
Sure.
season.
I
Uh,
agree.
it was more so, just an effort that obviously wasn't going to be good enough to beat a great team in Oshawa. But a lot of circumstances around it with the early morning start that could have went into as well. Not making excuses for sure. I mean,
No,
they
yeah,
still
sure.
lost. They still gave up
Yeah.
the 2 points, and Oshawa still came in there and played a great game. You have to give Oshawa a ton of credit. I mean, like
Absolutely.
they played. You said it on the broadcast a few times, and you said it off the air too. They played the perfect road game. Like
Perfect
there
road
was
game.
just
Yeah.
they just sucked the life out of the crowd. They sucked the life out of the team, and there was just no space on the ice. They played the perfect game, really.
So how many aspirin did you take during that game? Did you take any? Oh no, you didn't have to.
No,
You didn't
no,
have
I
to
didn't.
take any.
I had the
Well,
headset.
yeah, I didn't. I had the microphone. Lucky you.
But
So, well,
you know
yeah,
what I will say? Yes, it was loud, but it was good to see the crowd full though, and everybody, passionate.
absolutely, of
100%.
course.
I'd
Yeah.
take the loudness any day.
No, I take a headache any day of the week, of course. Just to say, but when you have whatever it was, close to
Yeah,
3,800 kids screaming in the stands, man. Woo.
yeah.
The one time my head was just going, zzz, zzz. back and forth. I was like, oh, and I remember asking you guys, any aspirin? No, no, oh, that's nice. But anyways, no, it was good to see, and the building was jumping. Good to see
Yeah.
the kids having a good time. Of course, all from all sorts of different schools. I'd like to see. I mean, there's not. I don't think every OHL team does the school day games. I think every OHL team should do 2 school day games a year.
I think it'd be
Why not?
awesome. I think it's
Yeah,
awesome to get, and you know what? Maybe it draws some kids to want to play hockey too. Like you know what? I think it has a lot of benefits, and it always has a lot of energy in the crowd, no matter where you're playing. Remember a few
yeah.
years back in Hamilton when the Steelheads went there?
Oh boy, oh boy. Oh
That
my
was an
goodness.
energy filled game.
Oh, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is. I agree. I think it's awesome. I think it's something all the teams should definitely do.
Yeah, like London doesn't do it, and uh, who else in the East? I don't in the division. I don't think Barrie does it. I don't think Sudbury does it. I don't think, but Kingston did it. Kingston had one. I think Ottawa had one. But just to say, so anyway, every team should do it. Why not? Get the kids out there, have fun, and whoop it up, whoop it up. Bring it. I mean, yeah, I love seeing the kids have a good time. I mean, I was
Hundred
when I
percent.
was doing the interviews and stuff, and you see the kids, but hey, can I have your autograph? Or to the players, obviously. Hey, your autograph?
Not for
And,
you.
well, why not? No, no, no. Just that one time with that one little boy, which was nice. So, but yeah, but I mean, all the kids, right? And they're like, hey, got your autograph. I love that kind of stuff, right?
Of
And
course, yeah.
they gotta do that stuff more. And like you said, the kids love to play hockey, and they'll see this and they'll want to come to the games more. It's an
Yeah.
attraction. They'll go home and they'll say, "Hey, mommy, daddy, I saw a good hockey game today. Can I go to the next game with you or whatnot?" Right? I mean, mommy, daddy, I did see a fight. Maybe mommy, daddy might say,
A couple
"I'm
of them.
not sure." Yeah, right, because there were a couple fights. But most of the time, but maybe most of the time, mommy
Uh,
and daddy will be like, "Okay, let's go," right? But mommy,
yeah.
daddy, I saw a fight. I saw a fight. Oh, you saw a fight? Yeah, I saw a fight. Oh, okay. All
uh,
right, so let's go. Okay, quickly, Brendan. Let's go
yep.
over the Steelheads' last games here
Yep.
in the schedule. So let's go over it here very very quickly because I know we're running out of time here because
Mhm.
we're talking about that school day game a lot. So they'll be playing the North Bay Battalion. Of course, that's coming up on. Well, it'll be done by the time this is done, and then the Wolves come into town on the Tuesday, right? And then they go on the road the very next day to play at Peterborough. Not easy, not
No,
easy.
not at all.
Those are the um, three games that are going to be coming up for the Steelheads, and then you got they still got the Barrie Colts one more time.
And that comes
Uh,
Friday, after so they play Tuesday,
right,
Wednesday, Friday. Like
there you
that's a
go.
tough week.
hmm That's
Yeah.
tough. That's big time tough. I mean, you got the Barrie Colts coming back one more time. You got the Peterborough Peaches who's good. You got them twice. Uh, they're going to be coming back to and Kingston as well. Kingston is going to be the very last game of the
Yeah.
regular season. How fast this season has gone to say too. So I
Crazy.
mean, Eastern Conference opponents, and it seems like I don't know, Kingston and Oshawa, they're fighting for that fourth spot, man. So, hey, Steelers got to keep going. They got to
Yeah.
keep going, and you can't let it keep the pedal. They got to keep the pedal on the metal here and wrap up that fifth spot. I'm not sure if they're going to catch anybody for that fourth spot. Doesn't look like they're going to catch Barrie. Let's be real for that, for first place in the Central Division. So it looks like Barrie's going to stay in that second spot in the East. So there'll be a 2-7 matchup there. But I like what Parker said too. We'll play anybody. It doesn't matter. Oshawa,
Yeah.
anything. And I think they match up well against anybody. That's my
Yeah.
opinion.
No, I agree with you. I don't really see like one team that I was like, oh, I would really want to avoid them,
Yeah.
or one team where it's like, oh, I think they would really match up great against them. I agree. I think it's pretty even throughout those teams that they could play. Like you said, probably won't be Barrie, but looking more like it'll be Kingston or Oshawa, even Brantford possibly in that mix as well. So any of them, yeah, I mean it'll be a good series either way. Either way, honestly, any of the teams they play, I expect a 6 or 7 game series. So it's gonna
Yeah,
be it's gonna be
100%.
hard fought.
And you know what? We didn't say this. We weren't saying this last year, but we're saying now, right? I mean, last year we were kind of like, well,
Yeah.
not sure if we want to play the Barrie Colts the first
Right.
round
Right.
or whatever, just to say, right? This year, totally different team, totally different. mindset. You could tell. Well, I'm sure they had the same mindset they did last year, but this year it's go time this year, and
Yeah.
this year it's so much different. So, all right. So, anything going on with you? Life tips? Anything? I know I got one I mentioned on the broadcast, but
Okay.
you can go ahead.
You give it to me, Mike. I want to hear
Come
it. I want to hear the
on.
life tip.
No, no, I'm sick and tired of always saying them. I sound like a grumpy kid. No, but no, but all right. I'll say this, and I said it on the broadcast. Okay. All right. I'm gonna say this in the nicest way possible because I want everybody to be nice, right? So if you're gonna, okay, so the OHL is a developmental league. All these kids are fighting for a career in hockey. They're moving away from home. They're living in different places, away from their parents. It's a grind. They're going to school, whatnot, and they're stepping on the ice, giving it their all. And then if somebody makes a bad play or something or whatnot, some sites, and I would suggest that if I was a player, I wouldn't even go on social media.
No.
Some sites, and we've talked about this. And so what I'm trying to say is, don't rip on the players. Don't be that guy that's going to rip on somebody that's 16 to 20 years old. These guys are fighting every shift, every moment of their life, and they're trying to make it. They're going to school, as I said. They're living in a different place, in a billet house. This is a total different dimension for a 16 to 20-year-old. These guys are not 25 to 30-year-olds, 30, 35-year-olds. So, again, my point is, don't rip these kids on social media. If somebody makes a mistake or whatnot, why did he, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. I see sometimes, you know what? It makes me sick, Brendan. It really does. It really
Yeah.
makes me sick. Just to
No.
say. So,
We talked about it before too, even just being in the arena like fans as well,
mhm,
and obviously on social media too. And yeah, I mean, you want you want your teams to win, and I get it. And like obviously you're gonna, you might have opinion about how the team played or how they matched up against certain team. But when you go after specific players, I think that's where you kind of lose
exactly.
the fabric of it. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it just doesn't need to happen. And I think that's the easiest way to say it.
And I don't want to say it, but there's one site, of course, and everybody knows this site. I wish they would shut it down, and I'm not going to mention it though because I don't want to cause controversy. But in my mind, just be nice when you're tweeting out things or whatever it is, because like I said, they're kids. These guys are kids. They're adults. Yeah, they do act a lot mature. So a lot of them than their age. Let's be real here. But be nice. They're eating different meals. They're eating different stuff that somebody else is being their cook, not their mom, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's gonna do it for my life tip. Brendan, anything from you?
Well, I know. I like the sentiment. I like the sentiment that you gave, Mikey.
Thank you. All right, so that's gonna do it for this episode of Trout Talk. Big thanks to Parker Von Richter for coming on. Brendan Lang, my compadre, of course. We always have a good time here, and thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you next time right here on Trout Talk on Saga 960 AM.